Coming up, Profit brings a pain in Crysis 3, we visit a haunted fairground in the secret world, and we bend it like Ronaldo in UEFA Euro 2012. Hello and welcome to Pwned. We've got a jam-packed show this month, but if you want to skip to any feature in the show that interests you, you can do so by using the navigation bar above our heads.
And if you'd like to subscribe to us, you can use the handy link, which is on your left, which is actually then our right.
Yeah, but then if we watched it back, it would actually be on our left.
Ah, bamboozling.
Right, let's kick things off with The Secret World. The MMO, set in present day, is out in June, and Matt spoke to one of the team behind the game about one of its many mysterious locations.
Oh, shudder.
The Atlantic Island Park is a haunted amusement park, and the story or the legend goes that it's actually being run by the boogeyman himself, which is true. And you will encounter him when you go through this fairgrounds, and it's just one of the many locations that you explore in the Secret World.
Don't fear the dark.
Fear me. So as the players go through this mission, they will have to investigate the rides. So they will actually start the rides, and the rides are doing all sorts of crazy things because they're influenced by this negative, dark energy brought about by the boogeyman himself. In these missions, you actually have the rides coming to life, and they actually become something that can damage the player, but also something that players can use as a weapon against their enemies. And we're trying to do a lot of that in the Secret World, creating missions that are, not typical MMO fare. For instance, you have sabotage missions where you have to sort of sneak into, for instance, a factory, and you have to avoid the cameras. And if a camera spots you, an alarm will sound, and there will be enemies there. And you have to sneak in. You have to place explosives, for instance. And we also have this thing that we're calling investigation missions, where you have to. You're given a clue by the game, but you're being asked to solve a task, but the game doesn't tell you how to solve it. So you actually have to go, research the, real world internet, finding clues about how to solve those missions. So that's something we're trying to do with the Secret World, just, go outside of what the MMO genre standards, in a way.
Now, one of the taglines is everything is real. So in the fairground, you're fighting zombies, you're fighting mud golems, and also a scary sort of clown with a chainsaw as well.
Scarecrow clown, exactly. We have everything. We have vampires, we have werewolves, we have undead Vikings that drowned in the Atlantic Ocean hundreds of years ago and are coming back to life. We have all sorts of mythological creatures that we have dreamed up ourselves, and you'll find everything in the Secret World.
Well, in my day, the most I had to worry about was being sick on the waltzers.
Nice. So, from the pleasant topic of being sick to sick tricks in FIFA 12. See what I did there?
I did.
We have the lovely Darren Cross from Match Magazine here in the studio again. Hi, Darren.
Hi.
Hey.
Thanks for having me back. Good to be here.
So what skills are you going to be showing us today, Darren?
Well, I've been playing a lot of the UEFA Euro 2012 DLC, and I thought today we'd look at dead balls, how to score from things like corners, free kicks, penalties.
So, in international games, the players fall down like dominoes. So, what's the best way of defeating your opponent with a free kick?
Oh, my favourite type of free kick is the layoff free kick, and I really like it because it's so unpredictable. It's really hard for the other guy to know what you're going to do, and there are three things that I do with layoffs. The first thing is to obviously call the second player in, which you do by holding left trigger or L2, and then you keep hold of that and press the short pass button, and the ball will be laid off to the player to the side of you, the third player. Then obviously it's just a case of holding the shoot button and directing the shot towards goal. But 9 times out of 10, you'll hit the target and either score or pick up a rebound off the goalkeeper, so it can be very effective.
What's another way of mixing things up?
Well, you can really catch players out with the second part of it, which is the same. You do the same thing, you lay the ball off, but this time instead of taking a first-time shot, you dribble forwards with the man that's got the ball. You can have a shot, or you can pass it again to somebody else in the box for them to have a shot, or you can just retain possession if you're in the last minute of the game and you need to keep hold of the ball. It's a really good tactic for that.
So what's your third tip?
So the third thing that I like to do is take a shot with the second player that you've called in. So again, you hold left trigger or L2 to bring the second player in, and he'll stand at like a 90-degree angle to the ball. And what I like to do is keep hold of LT, left trigger or L2, and then go for a shot with the second player. This really catches a lot of players by surprise, and it can be a really effective way to score free kicks. I like it.
So what about corner kicks? Have you got any top tips to get the net bulging?
One thing that works for me a lot, exclusively online really, is to overhit your first corner by quite a lot. So when you line up to take your corner, really put loads of power on it. And the reason that I do this is a lot of people rush their goalkeeper out by holding Y or triangle, and in a bid to sort of claim the ball and start a quick counter on you. The keeper sort of rushes out, he's nowhere near it, he gets caught in no man's land, and you can just nod the ball in for a goal.
Any other tips for corners?
Yeah, so after I've overhit the first one, with the rest of my corners I take in-swinging corners and really whip the ball in. And the way that you hit in-swinging corners is to have a right-footed player taking corners from the left and a left-footed player taking corners from the right. So this makes the ball curl in towards the goal, and it's very difficult to stop. What I do is I aim just outside the 6-yard box to keep it out of the keeper's reach. Plenty of power, hold up on the left stick, and then as the ball's coming in, quickly select your striker, get between the defender and the ball, nod it home.
Finally, let's talk penalties. Now, it's a free shot on goal, unless you're English, so what's the best way of beating the keeper?
The best way for me is definitely to hit the ball to the top centre of the goal. And the reason that I do this is because it's very hard to stop. And that's because the goalkeeper won't auto-save to the top middle of the goal. The only way to stop it is for the player to press up on the stick, and hardly anybody thinks to do that. So if you can get your shot right, it's almost a guaranteed goal, I think, from penalties there.
Is there a way that you can just practice that particular art?
You can practice this in the arena. So if you come back out of the Euro DLC and go into FIFA 12 arena mode, press back or select on the pad and it'll bring up a set pieces menu. Select penalties from there, and then as your guy's waiting to take the penalty, press left trigger or L2 and you'll see a purple sort of cursor circle appear in the goal, and this gives you an indication of where you're aiming. That'll move with the left stick as you move it. So it's a good way to practice aiming above the goalkeeper, so that when you go back into a competitive game, you'll know how long to hold the button for and how long to hold the stick for.
So will all of those tips also work in FIFA 12?
Absolutely, it'll work in both the Euro game and in FIFA 12.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much, Darren, for joining us and for all of your top tips too.
You're welcome, thanks.
And of course, you can get more top tips in Match Magazine every week. Now, conceding a penalty is always a bit of a crisis, and conveniently, that leads us nicely into our next feature on the recently announced Crysis 3.
Oh, it's almost like we planned it. Ooh.
Rasmus, I guess the big question for me is how is Profit back? Because in Crysis 2, he shot himself in the head.
Yeah. Well, the elusive answer to that would be that existence in this future happens on multiple levels, right? There is not only the physical existence, there is also kind of like artificial AI versions of people. And we're playing around with that theme a lot. Actually, we played around with it across the IP up until now. But now we're starting to reveal some answers in this game that explains these things.
So what's Profit up to this time?
So Profit has been pushed around, you could almost say like in a militaristic way, bullied, and he's been forced into making decisions that weren't right decisions or good decisions for neither him nor his men. And since that really hasn't worked out for him, he even tried to kill himself in Crysis 2 in order to kind of redeem the stuff that has happened, and that didn't work out either. So when you've been going against the current for a long time, you just start to take charge instead and go like, I'm going to do it my way or no way, right? And that's why the whole hunter becomes the hunted, or hunted becomes the hunter theme is important for us in this game, and it's something we push through both gameplay, the feel of the features of the game, the visuals, the hunter concept, and the way he talks, all these different kind of levels. Like, we want to make him the guy who owns the situation now.
To me, it almost looks like a futuristic Rambo. There's a brand new weapon in the game.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, we obviously get inspired by things, right? And you can find traits of a lot of stuff in a lot of stuff. Of course, you know, the bow was something that was in Rambo, and, you know, the feel of the thing maybe is a little like Predator, but we want to make sure that we use all these elements and make it into a concise and cohesive package. And again, that it supports the high-level fiction of the game, which is about Prophet and his journey, right? And the bow was just a perfect addition to him being kind of like the hunter in this theme.
Now, the bow has a slow reload, but you do have an advantage because for the first time you can actually shoot whilst cloak, isn't that right?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, it has a variety of warheads that you can equip it with, and obviously as cloaked, it's only when it's a normal arrow you can use it. But that also adds a really interesting layer on the stealth gameplay, because you're able to shoot something while you're cloaked, which wasn't the case in Crysis 2, and it really kind of expands the stealth feature of the game quite a bit. But that also means we need to have good countermeasures in it, like the decloakers, for example, so that there is no golden path for the player, right?
How have you gone about getting such a level of graphics without pushing things too far?
Well, I mean, first of all, we have like two comfort zones now. We did a game in a lush tropical setting, we did a game in a city setting, and now we're marrying that. And what we're layering on top of that is that we came up with the concept of the 7 wonders of the rainforest. So rather than just overgrow the city with vegetation, which would be the simple solution, we spend a lot of time researching rainforest concepts and how the visual language of those are, and then making sure that we replicate that visual language with the shape language of a city, rather than just slapping it on top of a city. And that makes the range and the variety of these settings much larger, much bigger than it would have been the case if we had done it the other way.
Well, it's definitely the end of the show now. Remember, you can subscribe to us by clicking on the link. There are also icons for Facebook and Twitter to have a play with. Go on, I dare you.
We'll be back in 4 weeks' time, but if you want to be kept up to date with everything Electronic Arts, don't forget to check out EA Update. Until then, bye.
Bye.